All right, welcome to another episode of Stand Tall. It is December 22nd. It is Friday, so we are going to do, instead of The Art of War, a book from the same canon, the Wuzi. And we're going to do verse 3 to start out. Wu Qi said, "The way or the Tao is the means by which everything returns to its original state. Righteousness motivates people to serve and distinguish themselves. Strategy is a means to self preservation and profit. Key principles allow us to preserve the state and our gains. If a ruler does not act in accordance with the way, the Tao, and is not righteous but sets himself above the people, then disaster is not far off. This is why the wise rulers of old maintained peace throughout their realms by observing the Tao. They ruled righteously and inspired the people through the ritual codes. They reassured the people with their personal virtue. When a ruler pays attention to these four areas, his kingdom will prosper. If he does not, the opposite is true. When Tang of Shang rose up against the tyrant King Jie of Jia, the ordinary people were overjoyed. When Duke Wu of Zhao attacked the evil King Zhao of Shang, the people of the Shang capital Yin did not protest. As long as a ruler's actions follow the laws of the Tao and will of the people, then they will find a smooth road ahead. So I'm reading this and there's like little things that I want to highlight, but I think the whole thing is worthy of just being completely highlighted. Strategy is a means to self preservation and profit, but you can't get there without the righteousness that motivates you to serve and to serve your people. And then it's the key principles that you put in place, the discipline that you have for yourself. That is what allows you to preserve your gains. So I think that's a really interesting take. And I think that every so often, since the Wuzi is a little bit smaller than the Art of War, we will do one every so special often. And there's much more from that from that canon. We've got questions and replies between Emperor Taizong of Tang and General Li Jing that we can get to. And then we also have Methods of the SEMA, which was my first special episode a week or so ago. I've already got a bunch of these marked for us to go through. And so maybe Sunday or something like that, we will do a special episode on the Methods of the SEMA. Until then, let's go over to the Daily Stoic and continue our reflection in conjunction with the Wuzi. So the Daily Stoic is by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. Pick up a copy if you don't have one yet. It's fantastic. I own two. One's in my truck and one's here at home. So December 22nd, stake your own claim. For it's disgraceful for an old person or one in sight of old age to have only the knowledge carried in their notebooks. Zeno said this. What do you say? Cleanthes said that. What do you say? How long will you be compelled by the claims of another? Take charge and stake your own claim. Something posterity will carry in its notebook. Seneca, Moral Letters 33.7. Okay, so that's like really, really powerful to me because just on the way home from the gym, I was thinking about this, about stand tall and my journaling. That's interesting because I do keep several journals, business, personal, dream journals, and things like that. Goal journals, not necessarily like dream journals. I used to. Very interesting woo woo stuff there, though, if you ever want to talk about it. Um, but it was reflecting on the fact that one of these influencers that's really good at business that I follow, and I'm starting to resent them a little bit because not all of them, but they kind of don't understand what real work is like. They can say things like, well, most people are scared of work because it shows up in overalls and it looks like work and they don't want to do it. But even these guys, I don't think many of them would even know how to patch drywall or how to unclog a toilet for that matter, let alone do some of the stuff that a lot of these tradesmen do and spend their careers mastering. Because being a master craftsman is much more fulfilling than making a lot of money, or being so disciplined that you don't enjoy your life. But what Seneca is saying here is that for anyone who's old or close to being old to have only the knowledge carried in their notebooks, I think what he's saying, because he talks about like, well, Zeno said this, Cleanthes said that. What do you say? What do you say? How long will you be compelled by the claims of another instead of staking your own claim? So, like, how long are you going to sit there and listen to whatever influencer on Instagram or YouTube, or me for that matter, and actually just do, like what Alex Ramosi calls the mental masturbation, instead of like actually just getting out there and doing it yourself? Gary Vaynerchuk says just get in front of the camera and talk. I mean, actually doing it is the hardest thing. And that's where we're at. And that's what I think Seneca is talking about, is just get out there and do it. Musing in his notebook about the topic of immortality, Ralph Waldo Emerson complained how writers dance around a difficult topic by relying on quotes. I hate quotation, he wrote. Tell me what you know. Kind of funny, ironic, right? Nestled. I hate quotation in quotes. Tell me what you know. Seneca was throwing down the same gauntlet 20 centuries before. It's easier to quote, to rely on the wise words of others, especially when the people you're deferring to are such towering figures. I mean, these are giants, right? Like, these are people who were like in front of us, in front of our phones, on our existential crisis brick, right? Like, we're watching them on YouTube, and we're scrolling and we're seeing these images, and it just seems like they're everywhere, and they're these titans of our world. Not just titans of the past, like, the Carnegie of How to Win Friends and Influence People, and Vanderbilt, and Keynes, and just some of these guys. We've got Dolly, we've got so many people, Kiyosaki and Dalio and Tim Ferriss, and right, like Alex Ramosi and Bedros, and just like so many of these people that are out there putting out content for us. But at which point are they going to throw down the gauntlet to you and say, you need to do this, and you need to do this, and you need to do this, and this is how I got here? How long is it going to take until you actually get out there and get on camera and start producing content? How long is it going to be for you to actually go to the bank and open up a business bank account? How long for you until you actually start doing these things? So, it's harder and more intimidating to venture out on your own and express your own thoughts. But how do you think those wise and true quotes from those towering figures were created in the first place? Your own experiences have value. You have accumulated your own wisdom too. Stake your claim. Put something down for the ages in words and also an example. Okay, so it's really interesting. Kind of ironic, right? Because I'm reading from a book of a towering figure to many of us, Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman, by putting this amazing book together for us. But what we're doing here, aside from maybe some brief interjections from some podcast or something that I've listened to, is we are actually trying to take two things from different time periods and put them together and actually find the timeless principles. Because we can look at Ray Dalio's book Principles, and we can see if any of those are timeless, and we can listen to Alex Ramosi, and we can read his book $100 Million Offers and $100 Million Leads, and we can find these things that have always worked in the past and will work in the future. And that's what we're trying to uncover. And that's the thing that we're seeking. But at the end of the day, none of it matters until you actually act upon those thoughts.